Right, we're pleased to say that we've got someone on the show who knows a thing or two about the Premier League. He's the former Manchester City, Aston Villa and Leicester City forward, Darius Vassell. Darius, always great seeing you again. Now, you know what it's like to be on the other end of the transfer deadline day. Can you just give us an insight to what it's actually like?
Oh, hello. It's very difficult. Obviously, you want to just get it over the line. You want to get your signature sorted out, get your medical and everything sorted out. But at the same time, you're always aware that something may go wrong. Something might hinder this transfer. Something might stop this transfer from taking place. So it's a very edgy period for players during this time, and you're always a lot more settled when the deadline's over. You've signed your contract or not signed your contract, and you know where you're going to be the rest of the season.
Okay, well, actually moving on to the season ahead, and I want to start with the club that you're actually working for right now, and that's Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, last season, they caught a lot of people, a lot of teams off guard. How do they avoid the second season syndrome?
Yeah, that's it. It's real, isn't it? The second season is always more difficult when you've done well the first season. I think that we have a manager who's aware of that. He's very prepared. He has been very astute in the transfer window. He's offloaded players and brought players in with a vision for the future. And I think this season, a lot of teams will respect Wolves a little bit more than what they possibly did in the past. And it's about being able to use that respect in a way to reinforce what you're trying to do on the pitch and overcoming teams by realising the dangers that they, originally envisioned that you're going to give them.
Okay, well, do you think that the fact that Wolves are playing in the Europa League, will that help or hinder the season going ahead?
I think with that, with regards to pre-season, the Wolves have had, or we have had some really competitive games in terms of preparing for the Premier League. And that's a little bit different because normally it's difficult in pre-season to get that sort of competitiveness within those matches. Well, whereas Wolves have had that, I think it's about how the manager manages, the time, the travel, the recovery in those games, how he utilises the young players and keeps, the first team players sharp during those games. It's a very difficult process, but what I do know is that all members of staff and the majority of members of the team are going to be called into contention to contribute.
Okay, well, last season, you guys took 16 points off the top six last season, and they pretty much underestimated what you guys were about. So how do you go into this season knowing that, there's a lot more expectation from this side? I mean, how do you deal with that mentally?
As I said before, you've got to now realise that, you are one of the top teams. You've proved it. And in acquiring new players to the team and understanding your direction and the belief in the way that the team wants to play, you've got to go out there and produce. And that's why professionals are paid so much money. The players at Wolves will have belief in themselves. They will have belief in the manager. And it's very much of a team, along with the owners, that are looking to grow and are looking to the future. And I think once you've got that behind you, there's no real big reason why you can't go out there on the pitch and go and re-perform what you've been doing, in the past. It is going to be difficult because other teams have progressed and added to their teams as well. But this is the beauty of the Premier League. Get off to a good start, get that momentum going, and you've got every chance of realising, the potential.
Okay, one last question, and I really do have to ask you this. How do you think Aston Villa are going to get on in the new season, back in the Premier League?
Well, I'm hopeful for them. They've done really well, obviously, in the transfer window. There's been a lot of transfers and changes at the club, both player-wise and staff-wise. Direction-wise, they're looking to the future. I'm very happy that they kept Jack Grealish there. I think he's really important and pivotal to their success. For me, they do stay in the division. That's the first port of call. And again, with the transfer windows to come, they'll be looking to add to, get themselves up the table and challenging where they once were. I do believe in the team. There is a bit of loyalty and with it being a Birmingham boy. But I think it's good times for Villa. They've spent big in the transfer window, and it's a long time since they've spent that sort of money.
Okay, Darius, I can't thank you enough for coming on to the show. Hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.